Yogesh Thakur and his family lost 84 lakhs of their hard-earned money in a banking and insurance company. They are now running from pillar to post to see whatever they can get, but nobody is ready to help them. Another person who is working on a daily wages as a driver has lost about 50,000 rupees in the same bank and insurance company. My dear friends, I am Sridhar Ganeshan. I am an insurance and wealth consultant, and I am on a mission to transform 1 lakh people to have a total peace of mind and a cash-rich retirement. Now let me go into the details of the case, what I am trying to refer. Yogesh Thakur has invested some amount in his RD or FD, and the bank has approached him that there are better schemes which can give him better rate of return, so that he can start investing in a different scheme which is going to offer him 15% tax free. Now, naturally, as all of us would aspire to fulfill our dreams, fulfill our commitments, we try to take up those schemes which are giving a better rate of return, and especially from a branded company, a branded bank and a branded insurance company. Ultimately, what happened was, to his utter shock and dismay, 24 lakhs have been debited from his account every year for the past 3 years with absolutely no reasons assigned. The reason finally was told to him that this was forfeiture charges. Now, what is this forfeiture? What is the scheme? What was the plan he has invested in? Yogesh Thakur is not at all aware. Now, my dear friends, this video is especially made for people like you to be aware of what's happening in the market, how you need to be aware to be careful, and how you need to be safeguarding your hard-earned funds. So, the first and the foremost is when banks and insurance companies come forward to offer you a scheme, there are two types of frauds which generally happen. One thing is, especially in an insurance company, the first type of fraud is the banks will try to transform your FD into an insurance policy even without telling you. This is what you need to be careful now. The second thing is, especially when you require the money in the form of claims, either a maturity claim or a death claim, the money will not be given to you as much as it is promised, because you are not aware of the clauses which are inclusions and exclusions in the terms and conditions. Now, I will tell you what are the things which the advisors will not tell you. Okay? Now, the next thing what I will try to cover is what you need to ask them. Then, why I am telling you these things. Let me go one by one. The first thing which the advisors will not tell you is what is the name of the scheme or the plan they are going to invest your money. The second thing what they are going to tell is what is the total term which is committed. What is the total investment term which is committed. That is how many years you are going to invest the money into that plan. The third thing, what is the minimum guaranteed return and the probable guaranteed return. The fourth thing is, when is this amount of investment going to get you the returns finally? The fifth thing is it a single time investment or a recurring investment in several years? The next point is, what will happen if you don't pay the money if it is a regular investment? What are the consequences? How much reduced amount you are going to receive? The next and the last point is, what will happen if you discontinue the plan midway? For example, if you stop your payments in year 1, year 2, year 3 until the end of the term, what are all the amounts you are going to get back as an amount after deduction of penalty or charges, whatever they are going to do? These are the points which they will never transparently tell you. Now, why I am saying all those things? I am telling you all those things because as much as technology has advanced, frauds have also increased. You need to be careful and you need to be aware of what frauds are going on and ask the right questions to the advisors. And if the advisors are not able to answer the questions, go to the company and try to ask the questions. Unless and until you are convinced with your questions being answered in a positive way, and you need to make your own research to see that you are investing in the right company and in the right plan. So I'll tell you how these things can make you more alert and cautious when you're investing. Number one, there are some general things which you need to be aware of, and there are specific things which you need to be aware of. Now, the general things goes like this. Now, first thing, never be carried away with the higher rate of return which the bank or the insurance company is trying to offer you. If the bank is coming forward, now these days, I'll tell you one practical example. When your FD, that is a fixed deposit or the recurring deposit, is having more than 50,000 or 1 lakh, it catches the eye of the insurance company or the banking company. Especially the banking company, which is also having an insurance arm. Now, they immediately rush to you saying that your FD is going to give you a less rate of return, whereas I have a scheme which is going to give you more rate of return. Never fall in this trap. If they are having better schemes, which they are going to give you better returns, why did they not give it to you on day one? And why are they coming to you now? And ask them what the rate of interest they are going to give. If they are going to give an interest rate of 15% tax-free, try to think, as from a common sense point of view, how can they give 15% when the RBI has regulated only 4 or 5% rate of interest for all nationalized banks? See, when you are going to think of what return is coming to you, you need to suspect if it is a higher return. When the banks are giving loans at the rate of 6% in the housing loan itself, and they are giving FDs at 5%, that means there's a 1% gap, which means that is a 1% which they are going to pocket for taking care of the administrative charges, management charges, and other charges. Now, if they are going to give the same amount of interest versus the loan interest, then there's a break-even. Now imagine when they are going to give you 15% rate of interest, where are they going to invest the money so that their money multiplies and they are going to give you 15%? They cannot give you. If they are going to give you, they are going to give you on a short-term basis and then swallow your funds. There are umpteen number of examples in YouTube which you can go and observe that where people have been duped of their money, hard-earned money, by all these banking institutions or non-financial institutions. So this is the first caution you have to think. The second thing is, don't put all the eggs in one basket. If you are having a bank, you should be knowing the rule that Parliament has passed a law that more than 5 lakhs the bank is not liable to give you, even if you have 1 crore. So the moment you have 5 lakhs in your bank account, the 6th lakh you have to start investing on some other bank. They are liable to give you only up to 5 lakhs, irrespective of the amount you are going to park with the bank. Keep this in mind. So don't put all the eggs in one basket. The third thing is, as much as possible, try to keep your hard-earned money in a nationalized bank and not a private bank, even though the private bank might have a lot of technologies helping you to do a lot of things, and they may be fast in service, but still a nationalized bank is always a nationalized bank. The government gives more guarantee, RBI monitors it more than the private banks. So try to restrict yourself to your hard-earned money in nationalized banks and only for transactions in private banks. The fourth and most important thing is the rate of return. If you are being offered a rate of return of more than say 7% or 8% maximum, you need to start suspecting. Because nobody can get, even for that matter, the SIP and the mutual funds are not able to produce even 12% rate of return over a long term. This is a hard fact. Now, how can the banks give you 14%? How can the banks give you more than 12%? See, SIP itself is being managed by portfolio managers who are professionally qualified and who try to take the best return from the market by investing in various companies, blue chip companies. And they themselves are not able to generate more than 12% with the fluctuations of the market which is going on. So with this being in place, try to immediately imagine why they are going to give you more interest than the 7 or 8%. And if they are going to give you, you need to start suspecting from a genuinity perspective. Okay. Now I'll tell you some specific cautions or questions which you need to ask the advisor when they are going to approach you either for taking an insurance policy or they are going to advocate a plan or a scheme which is going to give you better returns. Okay. The first and the foremost is ask them if there is an insurance policy, if the insurance policy is a traditional policy or a ULIP policy. What is the difference between a traditional and a ULIP policy? Traditional policy do not invest their funds in stock market. So it is not affected by the fluctuations of the stock market. They have typically a guaranteed addition or a bonus which will come to you at the end of maturity or on death, whichever is early. Okay. Now, ULIP policies are directly invested in stock market where your funds performance is linked with the shares going up and down. So your capital may be eroded. Have very, very sound knowledge on these things. The second thing is, if ask the name of the scheme where they are going to invest your money. This is very important because this is not disclosed by any of the most of the advisors. Now, what is the name of the scheme? Go to the insurance company's website and see whether the scheme is still active or it has been withdrawn. And if the scheme is active, see that there is a plan code which is given by IRD, which is the Insurance Regulatory Authority. This is a cross check which you have to make. The third thing is, take time out to read all the conditions of the plan which they are offering. Suppose the agent says that, or the advisor says that you are going to get this much of amount on maturity with this guaranteed additions, with this bonus. Try to go and see what is the bonus rate which is declared previously, and try to calculate yourself how this is possible, which the advisor or the agent is telling you. This is very, very important because you need to be very cautious on what you are trying to get and cross check what the agent is going to give you. Right? This is very, very important. The third thing is, try to take out the terms and conditions of the plan. What will happen if you are going to stop paying the premium? What will happen? If you are going to stop paying the premium in year 1, do you get anything? And if you get anything, how much? Year 2, same case. How much you are going to get, how much you are going to be having your money deducted as penalty. So all these things you should be very, very crystally clear before you start making a decision. Then once again, the other point is, go and browse in Google whether this plan has got any complaint or redressal which is not addressed by the insurance company. How much is this plan genuine to be invested? What are the complaints which are outstanding and which has not been addressed by the insurance company? This is very, very important. Okay. Now, make a list of all the questions with the advisor and then ask him one by one. If he is not able to answer these questions convincingly, go to the insurance company and ask the employee or a particular manager. Now, this is not the end of the point. Once he gives this reply, cross-check this. Okay. Cross-check this in Google whether this is what is real or true or genuine. Okay. And then the most important thing is, when you find out all these things, your word of mouth is not going to give you a guarantee, because if your friend has taken an insurance policy and you start taking it blindly, you don't know what the terms and conditions are. Your necessity might be different, your friend's necessity might be different. So when you are going to withdraw, your friend may not be withdrawing. So when you are going to withdraw, the terms and conditions could be applied in a different way. When your friend is going to withdraw after some time, his terms and conditions could be in a different way. Okay, so you don't try to go by the word of mouth, but go by facts and figures, by browsing in Google where there are number of things which can come to light. And after this, then take a decision. And don't try to invest heavily in any of the companies unless you are convinced that they give you minimum this rate of return, or minimum this amount which is being promised. It should be in your policy bond. The last and the most important thing is, once the policy bond comes to you, there is a free look period called 15 days. Try to go through each and every terms and conditions of the policy bond, what it is going to offer to you. If you are not satisfied with the terms and conditions of the policy, you can surrender the policy within 15 days from the date of receipt of the policy bond, and you get your money back and you can withdraw from the scheme. So for this to happen, you need to do all the other things background by convincing yourself that this is a good plan, by convincing yourself that the terms and conditions are well read and understood by you, and then you also know what will happen, under what circumstances you will not get money, under what circumstances you will get this amount of money, and how much of amount of money. Okay friends, this is all I wanted to tell you as a word of caution, because these sort of malpractices have been on the increase. So because it is all your hard-earned money, your money which has been parked to fulfill your dreams, responsibilities, commitments, you need to be cautious about it. Ignorance is not an excuse. If you're not aware, and if you're not getting yourself aware of these things, then nobody will come to your rescue. So try to be very cautious. Try to have all the information ready. Convince yourself and then apply. Otherwise, just invest in the bank and keep quiet. However, insurance is a must. So if you feel that insurance should be taken, government insurance companies are more advocated for genuinity rather than private insurance companies. I don't say that all the private insurance companies are having malevolent intention to dupe your funds, but there are certain hidden clauses in terms and conditions which you need to be aware of. Kindly go through that and try to invest your money. All the best for happy investments. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. You'll get more informative videos like this. Wish you all the best. Have a great day ahead.